Amy and I are on our way now. We stopped last night. Stopped in a town on the highway. What highway? 70. I-70 West. There's a town called St. Clairsville, Ohio. I drive by it all the time. When we were driving to or from Columbus to the Meadows, you drive right past this town, and there seemed to be a lot of shopping and hotels and food there. So we stopped in. We weren't going to get to Columbus in time to make it to any of the restaurants we wanted to eat at, so we decided to stop in St. Clairsville. We did. It was nice. Stayed there overnight. Got some work done. Got a little refreshed. Got up. Got some Starbucks. And on our way to Dayton. Now, it's raining right now in the greater St. Clairsville area. In this area, but it's supposed to be sunny all day. A cooler 17 degrees Celsius. For those of you that are in Canada, watching the races. 17 degrees Celsius for Dayton tonight, but sunny, of course, until it gets nighttime, and then it'll be moony. Last night we had a great night at the races, but you know what? It's worth talking about what has gone on this year. I like to always start with what took place yesterday, but what's coming up. Obviously, we're on our way to Dayton, and then off to Lexington. Amy and I have poured over the catalog 5, 6, 7, 8 times, looking at videos, looking at pedigrees, horses that are interesting. It's always interesting. I try to talk to people about the smaller things that go on in the sales, right? Which studs. So think of it this way. You only have a certain pool of money for the most part every year. Owners will come to the sales with the same amount of money. It might be a little bit less or a little bit more, but for the most part, that same pool of money is there. So when you start dropping new sires with strong mares into that pool, it draws from other places. So you're left looking at, one, you have to be prepared. I said this to somebody, I said this to my brother yesterday. Mark's coming down to the sale. He wanted to buy one or two. Mark's getting a little bit older too and probably likes what we're doing. And it said, at some point he'd like to train a little bit more and drive, which I would love him to do. Many of you don't know this, but my brother Mark had a very successful stable before he became Mark McDonald, the world champion driver. And I would love nothing more than to have my brother have horses on the East Coast. And if he does, we'll definitely do some business. But for now, it's just an idle threat. He thinks that he's going to go buy some horses. Now, Mark said, I whittled the catalog down to 20 or 30 horses I like, and by the time I get to Lexington, I'll have it down to 10. I said, Mark, why don't you just leave the number at 900? Go and price all the horses you're mildly in. This is what we do. Go and price all the horses you're mildly interested in. Sit down by the ring like we do every year. Have a beer. Watch the horses go through. And if those prices look interesting to you, or if you're looking at a horse, this happens all the time. We saw it happen with Prince Charmer. I can't for the life of me figure out how Prince Charmer only went for $8,000. It's insane. This was my second pick in the entire sale. I loved the horse. I loved everything about him. I liked him very much. Even after I looked at him, I loved the horse. And he only went for $8,000. But those things will happen. Now, of course, none of this matters, because all that matters is what happens next July. But pouring the foundation of our 2023 season with these yearlings, so to speak, it's important that you pay attention to everything. I said, go and price all the horses, sit down, watch them go through, and I guarantee you'll find horses that slip through the cracks, but you have to be ready to pounce. You have to be ready to purchase them. So we've looked over the catalog. I'm trying to think, how much is Green Shoe going to pull? You always have Walner now. This is going to pull a lot of money also. Is that going to take more money away from Father Patrick this year? Are there going to be values found in Green Shoe this year? How much money is Chapter 7 still going to demand the same amount of money? We have lists and contingency lists. If Father Patrick's are weak, this is where we think we should go. If Chapter 7s or Muscle Hills are a little bit weak, this is where we should look at. These are the lists that are gonna be helpful for us if that takes place. I want to be ready, and we're going to go in and look at all the horses, how they look, what we want to do, and where we want to go. Now, the added draw this year is that we have a client in town that wants to buy a fairly blue-blooded pacer. That adds to one, the excitement, but also the workload that we have. Before it was, if any one of these pacers go for, a very reduced amount of money, these are the ones we should, we were always looking for the harder side of value with the pacers. Now we're looking at, this is what they're worth. This is what we're willing to pay. So you might find a high-priced pacer come into the stable this year. And it's a super exciting time for us, but you got to keep your eye on the ball. I'm looking at videos and talking to people about horses all the way to the meadows, and then get off that, turn the iPad off, put your driving suit on and become Anthony the driver. Warm up Macho Martini, make sure everything's all right with him. A lot of people say, well, what changes did you make to Macho Martini? It's simple. When we bring a horse, we've had so many horses. We look at a horse's gait, how they might strike the ground, come off the ground, what they look like. Have we had horses with similar gaits? What did we do for them? So the first thing we did with Macho Martini was had the vet look at him. We did a minor amount of vet work on him. Bought him on Monday, picked him up Tuesday. Had the vet look at him, do any vet work that they believed was needed. A little bit was needed. Looked at his shoes. I had written down a couple of horses. For those of you who know me, you know that I remember all the equipment and all the shoes and all the horses forever. And when it comes to Macho Martini, I looked at a couple of horses that reminded me of Macho Martini and what shoes we had on them. We did make some shoeing changes on Macho Martini. We made some equipment changes on Macho Martini. You'll know his entire life. He threw his head. That's how he made breaks. And now Oi Tiger's got over that with age also. So it wasn't that we fixed him and, you should have done this a long time ago. No, horses mature and grow. But Macho Martini, I trained him at Tomiko. Then we put him on the truck, sent him to the meadows. And I said to Lauren, his hobbles are a little tighter than I think he needs them, but we want to make sure we stay safe tonight. So just don't put him in a place to get excited. Listen, if you look at the program, he should be the best horse on paper. That doesn't mean he is. Keep him comfortable. Quiet in the post parade. Bring him in quiet to the gate. Let him do what he wants to do. If he wants to fall off the gate, let him fall off the gate. If he wants to go to there, let him go to there. But let him tell you what he wants to do. And Lauren, for such a young girl, a lot of pressure on a young girl to be driving a big, strong horse like that, at 1 to 5. It's not a super stake race, but at the same time, it means a lot. She knows people are watching her. Everybody that goes on the track knows that. And for a young kid, she's got a real good disposition on the track. We have a lot of clients saying, oh, Lauren should drive more of her horses. Lauren's going to get her chance to drive, right? We didn't build our stable around amateur horses and amateur drivers, but I'm happy to help out Lauren and give her an opportunity to win races whenever we can. And yesterday it was very beneficial for us. When we entered Macho Martini, I had a number of clients say, why would you put a horse that has made breaks in the past in an amateur race with an amateur driver and a young girl driving? That's why. We entered the horse in the hours of 4,000. It didn't fill. They needed a horse for the amateur driving race, and I have faith in Lauren. She's got a good set of hands. She's a smart kid, and she made the right decisions. Exactly what I said to her. Just let him do what he wants to do. Let Macho Martini do the work. And that's what she did. Much like Sentra. The same approach with Sentra. Keep him quiet and let him be Sentra. I know I had butted heads with James a little bit. James thought that we should keep the horse in Ontario. And I know Harry did too. Everybody wants what's best for Sentra, and James thought shipping him all the way over to the meadows to race against these horses on a 5/8 was maybe not as easy as just following speed at Mohawk. But I I just reverted back to the one thing we've tried to do all year. Put the horses in where they can win. Pretty simple. If you do that, you will have success. We've proven that. Sentra can't beat those horses. He would have got eviscerated tonight at Mohawk. But instead, he ended up winning in what appears to be now Sentra-like fashion, where he just overpowers them. The only horse to beat got everything his own way, and he just run right through him coming out of the turn. In fact, I had a tough time pulling Sentra up. In the far turn after the race. He is such a unique, special horse and such a treat to drive. You know, it was a great night last night. And, you know, I know the race yesterday first, Walk the Moon, wasn't it? Walk the Moon, Make a Break? Yeah, the track in Dayton is terrible right now. But our horses, yeah, no, it may not be better tonight. And that's the thing, is that, you know, Swinging Senorita is pretty sure-footed. I don't mind the track not being great in Dayton tonight, because I know our filly's kind of sure-footed. I'm wondering how the other ones are going to like it. I'll take an iffy track tonight in Dayton. Actually, we got to find a way to beat a couple of these fillies. Maybe we don't got to beat them. Maybe the track's going to beat them tonight. Anyway, I thought Lauren did a great job with Macho Martini. Sentra raced fantastic, just such a nice horse, and like I said, put them in where they can win, and we're going to continue to do that. Sentra will stay over here for a couple of weeks. Hopefully they film this class next week. If they don't, maybe we'll race him in the Open at Northfield on our way back to Ontario, because he will have extricated that $50,000 purse money from PEI off of his card. So he should be able to fit in the backup class, and if he doesn't, I don't mind racing the Open. I'm okay with that. I do have a problem racing the Invite, because that's what this is tonight. You have Tattoo Artist, and what's Rob's horse? No, the Pacer. Good horse. Vital. Warwee Vital. Yeah, I have no interest in racing Warwee Vital and Tattoo Artist with Sentra. Not going to happen, and if I have anything to do with it, it'll never happen again, ever. So hopefully, when we get back to Ontario, those horses have gone somewhere else. And I don't imagine Vital will. There should be something towards the end of the year, or the Breeders' Crown for those two horses. But it won't be an Invite. So that's the plan with Sentra. We have a horse, we can race him wherever we want. But understand that we have a horse we can race wherever we want. There's no need to race him in tough or over his head, and I don't plan on doing that. So Macho Martini was fantastic. Sentra was great. You know, I said to James last night, and I hope it sticks with him. He said, you know, I shouldn't have been out of there with J.K. Mickey Mantle. I knew that could happen. I said, James, you raced Mickey Mantle, right? You raced J.K. Mickey Mantle last night. You didn't duck him. You didn't get locked in so that I throw my phone against the wall. You raced him. Yeah, it kind of sucks that, you know, Tyler put the force on the front and he kind of got away on him 53, which was a bit of a hot half. And then he got pinned in, but the horse finished up good. Anybody that watched the race saw how good J.K. Mickey Mantle was last night. First off, you get out of the gate 25-4, right? Pretty good quarter. You know, he gets stuffed in behind a horse that was bound to walk, and again, he walked coming out of the turn, and we kind of had to knife our way through. He finished 5th, but he raced good. I said, James, the horse raced good. I said, and I'm going to tell you something. You know, you drive the horses great, and you continue to drive them however you want. All I know is that no one is going to text me and say, James didn't give the horse a shot. James didn't race the horse. You know, why wouldn't he just, whatever, drive him this way or that way? And he said, yeah, well, if I take him back and I'm third over, I said, maybe. All of the things you're talking about are maybes. All I know is that you race the horse. Continue to do that, and I won't have a problem. They said it's when we don't race the horses that I got a problem. And that's just James being James. It's just fine. Like I told him, don't stop being you. Don't stop being you, but make no mistake, I am not unhappy with J.K. Mickey Mantle's race. The way you drove him or the way it ended up, the horse raced fantastic. It showed, 1, we got a pretty good handle on him now, 2, that he is a good horse, and 3, that he is kind of versatile. You know, the way he got jammed up coming out of the turn, and then he shot him to the inside, and the horse raced well. I was happy, really happy. Now I look at today, we should have a good day at the fair. Hopefully we have a good day in Dayton. Going to be tough sledding outside of, I think, our only shots, our best shots, I guess. You know, poor Connie drew the 10-hole, Grace drew the 10-hole. I had one of our clients last night say, I can't believe he put Grace back in to go Wednesday at Northfield. I'm just assuming we're not getting any money tonight out of the 10-hole. That's not being pessimistic. We needed to have a favorable draw and a favorable race for things to work out well with Grace. Kind of rhymed. You see how I did that? Mm-hmm. There's your race in there that rhymes with Grace.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that. But we didn't get a favorable draw. We likely won't get a favorable race. We're likely going to just race her, in which case she can come back over here Wednesday and pound the class she's in at Northfield. Her stake season is over tonight. Now she is a racehorse after today. If people don't want to pay us what she's worth, which they haven't, that's fine. She can win 5 races at Northfield Park before she ever has to face that type of competition again. No problem at all. So we'll get started on Wednesday. As I said, Connie drew the outside. Now, Renegade Gypsy drew good, which is awesome. James went with Resolute Bay from the 9 hole, but that's not a horrible draw for him. Not a horrible draw for Resolute Bay. He's coming in razor sharp. He gets the float out from the outside, and he gets his teammate from the inside too, by the way. I wouldn't be shocked to see them both line up in the top 3. Who else do we got tonight? The other guy, the old trotter, Per Lucky, he's in the open. A little salty. I think he's like 10 or 15 to 1. A little salty, the Indiana Open. Who else do we got? Per Lucky's in tonight, Swinging Senorita. Those horses drew 4 through 8, as I said to you guys. The best fillies in the division. The track is not good in Dayton right now, I'm being told. I'm okay. I'll take my chances with Swinging Senorita. You always have the chance. She's a 2-year-old trotter, so I'll be watching how the other races go tonight. But at the same token, I'm confident that our filly will trot and do her work very, very good. I guess for us to beat Rose Run Yolanda, Yane, the Irresistible filly, Simply Irresistible, is that her name or something? Chris Lems's filly, and don't count out for a second Donnie Irvine's filly and Rosie's filly from the inside. I think it's Rosie's filly. Real nice filly. So it's going to be a good race in Dayton, and then off to Lexington. I can't wait for the Lexington sale. As I said, Amy and I have been poring over it. Gonna look at all the horses Sunday, Monday, do the shows, sit down, watch the sales, and there could be some fireworks on Monday and Tuesday. We're gonna try and stay out of the, as Vance Cameron would say, we're gonna try and stay out of the brouhahas at the Lexington sale. But we do have our eye on a number of horses that will be very, very interesting to us. So, a good start to the weekend. Sentra, a winner in the Open, 150-4, 26-1 on the end of it. Macho Martini, bottom on Monday, in the winner's circle on Friday, and by the way, he's back in on Wednesday. Tim, always sharp. Tim realized that we could double enter him and still fit the class because the draw was before the race. So he's racing back Wednesday in the non-winners of 5,500. Ronnie Wren is going to drive him. He should be good. And also, all eyes will be on Ronnie Wren earlier in the week as Monday Atlas Hanover races at Northfield Park. So all our big guns are out this week. We're going to have hopefully a huge finish to the season, a great sale in Lexington, and a number of our horses just starting back. Everything seems to be falling into place right now, so hopefully we can keep it going as we head into Lexington 2022. Take care, everybody. I hope you had a great night. We certainly did. I hope we have a better night tonight. Good luck to everybody racing tonight.